Now let's look at a comparison of the current rate method and the temporal method in a little more detail. The first few items have to do with the balance sheet, and then the items here have to do with the income statement. So let's consider monetary assets and liabilities. So this, for example, would be cash or accounts receivable. With both the current rate method and the temporal method, we use the current rate. So if the balance sheet is being translated on 31st December year 1, then the exchange rate on 31st December year 1 will be used. Next, we consider non-monetary assets and liabilities. And with non-monetary assets and liabilities, we can have two subcategories. Some might be measured at current rate, while others need to be measured at historical rate. We might have some non-monetary assets such as inventory, which is measured at current value. Now, if the non-monetary asset is measured at current value, then with both the current rate method and the temporal method, we use the current exchange rate. On the other hand, if we have non-monetary assets measured at historical cost, so for example, we might have property, plant, and equipment in this category, then with the current rate method, we use the current rate, whereas with the temporal method, we use historical rates. So these would be the exchange rates when the property was purchased or when the equipment was purchased. With equity, we again have two subgroups here. We have equity other than retained earnings and equity which is retained earnings. For equity other than retained earnings, we use historical rates for both the current rate method and the temporal method. For retained earnings, we use the beginning balance plus translated net income, and we subtract dividends translated at historical rate. And this is used for both the current rate method and the temporal method. At a high level, you can remember that for equity, we use the historical rates for both methods. And here, just to remember, with the current rate method, assets and liabilities are translated at the current rate regardless of the categorization. Whereas with the temporal method, if an asset or liability is measured at current value, then we use the current rate. If the asset or liability is measured at historical rates on the balance sheet, then the translation also happens using the historical rate. Coming now to the income statement. Revenue is measured at an average rate. So if during a given year, the average exchange rate was, let's say, 0.75, then for revenue, we use this exchange rate to translate. Most expenses are measured using an average rate, but we might have some expenses which are related to assets translated at a historical exchange rate. So for example, we might have cost of goods sold. For such expenses, with the current rate method, we still use the average rate, whereas with the temporal method, we use historical rates. This final point is extremely important. This has to do with the treatment of translation adjustments in the parent's consolidated financial statements. Under the current rate method, the translation adjustment bypasses the income statement and it is shown as a separate component of equity. So it is shown under other comprehensive income. Whereas if we use the temporal method, then the translation adjustment is included as a gain or loss in the income statement. So in this case, the translation gain or loss goes through the income statement and then shows up on the balance sheet as part of retained earnings. Now let's say you have a situation where you need to compare the net profit margin of two companies, where one company uses the current rate method and the other company uses the temporal method. Let's say that both companies had a translation adjustment which was positive. But for the company using the current rate method, the net income will not include this separate component that is coming because of the currency translation, whereas the company that is using the temporal method will have a higher net income because of the gain from the translation adjustment. Therefore, before comparing the two companies, we need to adjust the net income so that for both companies, we are considering the translation adjustment.